Hello everyone. What you're looking at is a 75-gallon aquarium that is ready for plants. I'm still waiting on the plants. But in the meantime, I'm going to show you what I did to start this soil substrate aquarium. Hello everybody, welcome back to Ted's Fish Room. Well, we're about a month after closing the big warehouse, and I've been busy working in my new fish room. Actually, I've been traveling a lot, so I've been putting a lot of projects on the back burner until now. Now that I'm back home from the ACA convention and a few other events, I have almost 3 months where I have nothing to do except work in my fish room. One of the projects that's been on hold has been establishing my planted aquariums. I'm going to set up at least 3 75-gallon planted tanks. And to get started with that, I want to talk to you about what I use for substrate. I like to use a soil substrate. So the first part in this video series on my planted aquariums, I'm going to show you how I mix up what goes into my soil substrate. The primary ingredient for a soil substrate is topsoil. Clean topsoil, not the stuff that's a mix of vermiculite and potting soil, all that kind of stuff. We're going to mix things into this on our own. So we want just pure topsoil. You can buy it, but if you buy it, make sure that it's pure topsoil. If you want to harvest it, you can harvest it yourself. Just find a clean area where there hasn't been a lot of water draining into it, because water can bring pollutants with it. The second ingredient is peat moss. I like the loose fiber stuff. It's almost like dirt in its own right. And we're going to use that to add some organic matter and to also decrease the pH in the soil substrate. And the last ingredient is turfus. Turfus is a calcined clay product. It's kind of like kitty litter, but it's going to stay hard for a long period of time. Turfus is a brand name. What it's used for is for covering baseball and softball diamonds. It's really good for use in aquariums because the clay that it's made up of will help trap nutrients for the plant roots to use, and will also add drainage and keep the soil substrate from compacting too much under the water of the tank. So the first thing I've done here is I have poured this topsoil into this bin, and it's very dry. That's actually been sitting in my garage for over a year. There's probably no water in it whatsoever. So these clumps have become pretty hard. It's very hard to measure and make the mix with these clumps like this though, so I'm going to break them up. This will take a little bit of time. And if I just take a few clumps together and kind of crush them together, they start to fall apart. I'm going to do this, just rubbing it between my hands until all the big clumps are broken up and it's pretty much just a fine dirt dust. So now my topsoil is mostly about, the big clumps are pretty much gone. There's a few small clumps remaining, but I will take care of those as I kind of mix it together with the other ingredients. Now the mixture rate that I use is going to be 3 parts of topsoil to 1 part each of the peat moss and the turfus. So let's put some dirt over here. I just use a cup that I can keep the same. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to grab a little bit of my peat moss over here. One. And my turfus. 1. Now I'm going to mix this all together. And I do this just by rubbing it between my hands, picking up and letting it drop. It's pretty dusty. You may want to use a mask if you do this, especially if you're allergic to dust. When you're done, you want to look a little bit of this consistency. I'll show you. So as you can see, it's very evenly combined with the peat moss, the turf, and mostly topsoil. So I'm going to keep mixing it in those ratios. 3 parts topsoil, to 1 part each of the peat and the turf. And don't worry about things being 100% exact. You just want that ratio to be that way. Now this particular soil mixture, we've been using it here in the Madison, Wisconsin area for many years very successfully. One of the criticisms I often hear about soil substrates is they don't last forever. Well, I don't know about that, because I've had some planted tanks before go 5 or 6 years before the tank started having any kind of real problems. But I don't know if that was the substrate's problem or it's me not really taking care of the tank. Typically, if I have an aquarium that goes 3 or 4 years without changing the aquascape, I'm probably getting pretty bored with it. So in the past, I have completely torn down and rebuilt soil aquascape tanks within 5 years of setting it up. And I've never really had a problem with the plants not growing in the substrate. Each of these scoops is 1 liter. So this bin full of soil substrate ended up being 12 scoops of soil and then 4 scoops each of the turf and the peat moss. This is going to be just about enough substrate to fill one 75-gallon aquarium.